UK's Zionist Minister Lisa Nandy is in big trouble and could even lose her job for allegedly lying in her desperation to support the Maccabi Tel Aviv hooligans inside the parliament. Yes, the topic has now gained momentum despite the cover-up by the lapdog media. The details surrounding this revelation are simply explosive, and I suggest you watch this video till the end, which you always do anyway. So Birmingham's Peribar MP Ayub Khan today dropped a bombshell in the parliament by making quite an allegation when he said that Lisa Nandy had lied inside the parliament on Monday while responding to a question from independent MP Iqbal Muhammad. Remember this video that we posted yesterday? You can watch it here. Independent MP Adnan Hussain had asked why Israel should be treated differently when Russia was banned from international sports for its war with Ukraine. Such was Nandy's discomfort that she had stopped midway through her reply and refused to answer his question. This was the bit.
The government, politicians from across the House and the media establishment have condemned the proposed ban on Maccabi Tel Aviv fans as anti-Semitic. Yet this group has a record of violent behaviour, racist chants including death to Arabs and the mocking of the killing of Gazan children. Given the UK's adoption of the IHRA definition, which rightly warns against holding Jewish people collectively responsible for Israel's actions, does the Minister agree that criticism of Israel with its ongoing genocide, war crimes, breaches of international law and current genocide trial at the ICJ, with anti-Semitism against British Jews or Jewish people in general, actually undermines that definition? I won't sit down. And if the UK rightly...
Is that the question? Is that the question? Quickly put the question.
And if the UK rightly imposes cultural and sporting boycotts on countries like Russia over war crimes, why should Israel be treated differently?
I made absolutely clear that it is perfectly acceptable for people to hold strong and passionate views about what is happening in Israel and Gaza, that there is a right in this country to make representations to sporting governing bodies and the government about who can participate in internet. I mean, he's not listening, so I think I'll just leave it there.
Then another independent MP, Iqbal Muhammad, had pointedly asked if the Israeli police too were being anti-Semitic by calling off the Tel Aviv derby because of violent behavior of Maccabi fans. To which Lisa Nandy had astonishingly said that the decision to ban Maccabi fans was taken not because these hooligans posed risk to local residents in Birmingham, but the decision was taken, according to her, because of the risk posed to them. Once again, you can see how she looks very uncomfortable here as she threatens to stop replying the MP's question.
After the conflation of anti-Semitism with the banning of football hooligans who happen to come from Israel, and the abuse that I've received and other people who've received for supporting the ban on safety grounds, I must put on record that I and those people are not anti-Semitic, never have been and never will be. The Prime Minister, if I may, the Prime Minister called the decision to ban the violent Maccabi hooligans by West Midlands Police and Birmingham City Council Safety Advisory Group as anti-Semitism. The leader of Reform said the police gave in to extremist intimidation. The leader of the Liberal Democrats called for the decision to be reversed, saying you don't tackle anti-Semitism by banning its victims. And racist comments from the would-be leader of the Tories said he was wrong that the integration has failed in Birmingham. Madam Deputy Speaker, let me ask this. Is it anti-Semitic for the Israeli police to cancel a football derby in Tel Aviv last night after these same hooligans forced the match to stop through violence and injury to fans and the police? Do we want these scenes to be repeated in our stadiums and on our streets?
The decision that was made last night as I understand it, was on the basis of rioting that was occurring at a live event. It was not a decision that is unprecedented in the UK from the Safety Advisory Group in recent times. Sorry, does he want to know? Yeah, yes. Okay. Well, in that case, can we just have a little bit more decorum, because there are people outside of this place whose lives are being directly affected by the debate that we're having and the tone of the debate that we're having. He tries to equate the two, but the truth is that he reveals himself in the language that he uses. He refers to the banning of football hooligans. He referred specifically to the decision to ban violent football hooligans. But this isn't a decision to ban football hooligans. This is a decision to ban all away fans from a game, which a safety advisory group has not done for nearly 25 years in this country. And it was a decision taken not on the grounds that he suggests, which was the risk posed by Maccabi Tel Aviv fans. It was a decision taken in no small part because of the risk posed to them because they support an Israeli team and because they are Jewish. And I would just gently say to him that if he is conflating everybody who supports an Israeli team, the vast majority of whom, by definition, will be Jewish, with being violent football hooligans, then he should consider whether he can really stand in front of this House and say that he is not behaving in a way that is anti-Semitic. Yeah.
Now, this is where the group of independent MPs led by Jeremy Corbyn accused Nandy of lying inside the parliament. In a joint statement issued by all independent MPs under the leadership of Jeremy Corbyn, they said that Nandy's comments stand in direct contradiction, this is their word, in direct contradiction to police intelligence, which, according to the Guardian newspaper, found that the biggest risk of violence came from fans of Maccabi Tel Aviv. The Guardian had reported, you can see it on the screen, that sources with knowledge of details of the intelligence and risk assessments had told the newspaper that the Maccabi fans were considered likely to be the perpetrators of trouble. But Nandy and Starmer were projecting them as victims. According to the Guardian, a source with knowledge of the assessment said the biggest risk was always the extreme Maccabi fans who want to fight. This is exact quote. That source had also added, if you don't know the detail and have not read the intelligence, you could conclude it was because the travelling fans were Jewish. That is just not the case. So I was not surprised to see Ayub Khan going for the jugular today inside the parliament when he demanded that Nandy be forced to return to parliament and explain why she lied. This, as he rightly pointed out, was a blatant breach of the parliamentary code and, according to me, therefore also warrants her resignation.
On Monday, the Secretary for Culture, Media and Sport told the House in relation to the Maccabi match that the risk assessment was based, and I quote, in no small part on the risk posed to fans attending to support Maccabi Tel Aviv because they are Israeli and because they are Jewish. Yet reports last night revealed that the decision to ban away fans was due to intelligence suggesting the main threat came from extremist Maccabi Tel Aviv fans themselves, and they were the likely perpetrators of trouble in Amsterdam last year. The Ministerial Code requires ministers to give accurate and truthful information to Parliament. If the Secretary had this information before her statement, she must correct the record. Mr. Speaker, can you ask her to clarify and return to the House immediately if she has breached code that governs all parliamentarians?
Unfortunately, I've not got such powers. Maybe at times I would welcome them. What I would say is, I do thank the member for giving notice of the point of order. Ministers are responsible for the words in the House, and the Ministerial Code is not a matter, I say, for the Chair. But he certainly put his views on the record, and I'm sure that once again we'll find that the Treasury bench will be listening.
This is what happens when you part with integrity, when you say goodbye to integrity and honesty and decide to go to any length to support a bunch of racist thugs just because they are from the illegal settler colony of Israel. I'm doubtful this woman will resign even after she is found to be in breach of the parliamentary code. Israelis wield too much clout over the political class in the UK these days. It would be a miracle if this happens. But this development has shamed both Nandy and her Zionist boss Keir Starmer. They came across as utterly shameless individuals who were prepared to go to any length to serve the interest of a foreign settler colony, even on a day Starmer was facilitating another act of treachery and betrayal against British citizens by abandoning his manifesto pledge on the tuition fee. Remember, this shameless man had promised to abolish the tuition fee by calling it a scandal committed against British students. However, far from abolishing the tuition fee, his Zionist Education Secretary, Bridget Phillipson, this week announced an increase in the tuition fee for the next 2 years. What it means is that millions of students in England will have to now consider if indeed they should continue to aspire to go to university. They will have to sacrifice this basic dream of theirs just because a bunch of crooks in the Labour Party have decided to play with their future. Just like the Liberal Democrats led by Nick Clegg did around 15 years ago. And the fact that Bridget Phillipson made this announcement against the interest of British students on the same day she was appearing on Sky News to serve the interest of racist hooligans from a rogue foreign settler colony makes it even more grotesque and perverse.
We think it's not the right call that fans were denied the opportunity to attend a game because of fears about their safety. It's why no discussions are underway as to how that can be facilitated in a way that is safe for the fans, because nobody should be unable to attend a football match because of fear of violence or intimidation.
So it's fear for Maccabi Tel Aviv fans, their safety, not the local community?
My understanding is that having not been involved in this discussion, but my understanding is that the relevant authorities considered a range of factors and concluded that they didn't feel able to facilitate the away fans at that fixture. We think that is very difficult to justify and very difficult to accept.
This is where these corrupt politicians under the influence of the Israeli lobby have brought the UK to. I will leave you with this extraordinary admission of guilt by Sky News on its coverage of the Maccabi controversy.
And we want to bring you a clarification now related to this story in our breakfast programme on Friday morning when discussing criticism of this decision to ban Maccabi Tel Aviv fans from the Israeli club's upcoming fixture with Aston Villa. We incorrectly said the decision was based solely on the inability of authorities to guarantee the safety of those fans. But we should have also reflected concerns referenced by the Safety Advisory Group about previous violent clashes involving Maccabi Tel Aviv supporters, which were also considered by the group.
At least Sky News has accepted that it ignored key facts about Maccabi hooligans. When would the likes of the BBC do the same? That's it for me. Thank you very much for your support of this platform and our journalism. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so, because that's one of the many ways you can support independent journalism. God bless you all.